Well, it's pretty safe to say that I had low expectations for Basic Fun's Wrestlefest arcade classics after finding out that the Legion of Doom and Sergeant Slaughter weren't going to be in the game. But now that a few people have actually received their final units in their home, had a chance to review the rosters and the gameplay, let's just say that Basic Fun completely outdid themselves, and it's even worse than we originally thought. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Michael B, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at some early returns, early reviews on the Basic Fun Wrestlefest cab and tell you why, out of the box, it's a complete disaster. But don't lose all hope. There still is an opportunity for this game to be pretty good. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for checking out the video. Guys, I always appreciate the support. If this is your first time to the channel and you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe, click the bell for notification, all that YouTube jazz. Expectations were extremely high with the first new title released in the home arcade space in many years, with Wrestlefest coming from Basic Fun in their arcade classics line. This is a game I think we were all pretty excited to see actually get released. Unfortunately, leading up to its official release, we did get some updates from Basic Fun, which was good to get that information out of the way, knowing that the original plans had changed. Unfortunately, they were going to have to change the artwork and change the rosters, with Sergeant Slaughter and the Legion of Doom being removed from the game, as neither are currently under WWE Legends contracts. Now, there was a lot of speculation up to the point about whether or not these characters will be in there. Huge thank you to my good friend and hetero life partner, P-Dub's Arcade Loft, who actually went out and asked Basic Fun directly what's going on with the rosters. And Basic Fun did confirm to him that Legion of Doom and Sergeant Slaughter would not be in the game, but they said, don't worry, there still would be a final boss fight. Now, we didn't know what this would look like at the time. There were some rumors that they could possibly add replacement characters, but judging by the artwork on the side of the cabinet, it seemed more likely that they would just figure out something with the existing game ROM. Now, this was always going to be a dubious choice for any company to bring it out. In fact, I made a video 2 years ago talking about Arcade 1-Up sniffing around the possibility of doing Wrestlefest and warned them it was going to be very similar to NFL Blitz, where people were going to be unhappy because it was likely as many as 5 superstars could be removed from the game. And I asked the question at that time, if you can't do the game complete, is it even worth doing? Especially with losing the Legion of Doom, who are so integral to the game as the game's final boss for the tag team tournament mode. So with all that out of the way, we did hope that we would get more answers before the product actually went live. I mean, you would assume that Basic Fun would try to protect themselves from cabinets being returned by giving some kind of update on what the actual rosters were and who was going to replace the Legion of Doom as the final boss for the tag team tournament. This actually didn't happen, and Basic Fun just released the cab. And I'm concerned because while you guys who watch YouTube and follow the Facebook pages, the Reddit and all that stuff would obviously be very up to date on the fact that these characters would remove, I often wonder about the normies, the people outside this crazy community that have absolutely no idea there's been any changes to the original arcade ROM, that ordered this sight unseen, then get it home to find out all about these disastrous changes. Well, like I just mentioned, the Amazon pre-order went live yesterday, and I'm going to correct myself there because it wasn't a pre-order. This was, in fact, a direct order, as the cabs would be shipping imminently. In fact, the order went up yesterday, the page on Amazon, and some people even received their cabinets the very next day. One of the very first people who actually received the Wrestlefest arcade classics was our buddy Kelsel's Arcade. He was very excited. He received it earlier in the day. Of course, he's in Arizona. I think these are shipping from California, so he got it relatively quick, and we were going to get our first look at the cabinet thanks to Kelsel's Arcade. So he posted another short showing the startup screen, and let's just say it's very arcade 1-up like with the startup screen. You go into what's a very familiar kind of UI to actually select the games you're going to select. My God, that marquee looks washed out, but of course, it's always hard when you're filming or taking pictures. It doesn't show a true representation of what the marquee looks like in person, but it doesn't look good from what we're seeing. So if you're a fan of arcade 1-up, you should be familiar with a lot of these issues. Other things we found out from Kelsel's unboxing, it is a BOE monitor, and there's something else that's very interesting. It has a PCB very similar to arcade 1-up with a twist, which is going to play a big part later on. Now, not to be outdone, our good buddy P-Dubs, also in the same area, also ordered a Basic Fun Wrestlefest cab. He gave us a look at what the build process was like, and he did confirm, much like Rob, that this is in fact pretty much exactly an arcade 1-up. So if you're concerned about the build, don't be, because if you've ever built an arcade 1-up deluxe cabinet, you're going to be pretty at home building this. It's pretty much the exact same parts in every capacity except for the cam lock system. But that's not what you guys are here for, right? You guys are here not to find out how close this is to arcade 1-up. You're here to find out the answer to the question we've all been asking. What's going on with the rosters? What's going to happen with the final boss in the tag team tournament? With Legion of Doom not in the game, did they add replacement characters? How did they handle that? And are there any other problems with the game? Well, our buddy P-Dubs has us covered once again, because he gave us a very open review on Facebook of his first impressions, and let's just say it's not good. So let's go through what P-Dubs has to say here. I played through Basic Fun's Wrestlefest Tag Team Mode and can confirm both Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth are missing from the WWF Superstars game. Well, we had heard rumors that Miss Elizabeth wasn't going to be in the game, and her cutscenes were in fact removed due to the weirdness around her passing. She's not under a WWE Legends deal, but finding out that Macho Man is missing is certainly a huge hit. Such an integral part of that game, the Mega Powers going up against the Mega Bucks for the championship at the end. Now, the other thing that concerns me is you just saw that cutscene there, and it hasn't been confirmed yet because nobody's played through it. But is Andre out of the game too? I mean, it was bad enough with the Legion of Doom being removed from Wrestlefest, but now we're missing one half of the tag team champions or the final boss from Superstars. Now, keep in mind, nothing is confirmed yet, but it does look like Andre is removed from that image. I don't know. Andre has typically always been under a WWE Legends deal. We're going to have to get more information on that, but it is odd that he's removed from that cutscene. So it hasn't been reported yet, hasn't been confirmed, but there's a chance the Mega Bucks are also out. So not only does Wrestlefest not have the final bosses, it looks like Superstars also may not have their final bosses. So I'll go over the rest of P-Dub's analysis here now. Controls suck, as they are the same as arcade 1-up sticks and buttons. Casuals probably won't care. I mean, if you went into this expecting arcade accurate controls, we kind of knew that going in. And, you know, arcade 1-up's controls do suck, but most people that have been buying them, either if they have a problem, they replace them, which, you know, you shouldn't have to do, but most people don't really care. They work, they just don't feel great. Marquee is washed out when lit up. We looked at that from Kelsel's video. So, That's something that unfortunately has been a problem with Arcade 1-Up through many iterations of their cabinets. Towards the end of the deluxe line, they started doing some double printing, and some are actually really, really good. No deck protector, and the control panel artwork is definitely not rub or scratch resistant. I mean, that's a rookie mistake. Arcade 1-Up's first line of cabs all had problems in their demo units in Walmart with the control panel getting completely destroyed. And that's why they did the deck protectors. Hopefully it's not a huge issue for basic fun. No LOD or slaughter, no replacement characters, which we kind of assumed. No replacement cutscenes, who you will fight for the championship, which we also kind of assumed. WWF logos swapped with WWE logos. We knew they had to do that. Thanks, World Wildlife Foundation. Final tag team match has you face a random team of 9 characters. So, of the 9 characters. So that is how they dealt with the issue. It's a little disappointing. I actually got a little bit more information. So it is a random tag team that you will face. However, the difficulty has been turned up specifically for that tag team match, so it won't be like the other random tag team matches you have while building towards the championship. Then he mentioned some bugs discovered, and this is really disappointing. Characters glitching during a track mode does not happen during gameplay. Of course, they had to cut a bunch of stuff out, so through the cut and paste thing, that's probably going to happen. Screen tearing during gameplay several times. Super disappointing. For the tag team title match before it started, it showed Demolition walking towards the ring, which is, in our minds, what the obvious replacement will be. Just stick Demolition there. But when he actually went into it, it was Earthquake and Mr. Perfect that he fought for the tag team titles. So is that a glitch that, is it going to be Demolition walking to the ring and then a different tag team every time? He says we'll have to repeat it. So, yeah, that's his early premonition. And guys, that's worse than we thought. Much worse. Now, me personally, I was probably out on the Ultra Cab, not really interested in that one. I was more interested in the Supreme. I mean, I looked at it this way. I've always wanted a Wrestlefest arcade my entire life. It's one of the most important arcade games to me growing up. One of the constants. I love playing it on multicades, but the idea of having like a physical version of this thing with the correct artwork, which they did to the most part, minus the missing characters, was awesome, and I couldn't wait to see if the Supreme line came to Canada. However, with some of the iterations, I was a little bit concerned, and I didn't know if I was going to be picking it up. But if you're disappointed by the rosters and by this news, don't worry, there still is hope for this game. So this image came from Kelsel's unboxing of the actual Wrestlefest arcade, and he wanted to show off the PCB that was included, and you can take a look at it. It's very similar to the PCBs that Arcade 1-Up had with their cabinets. The big difference here, and what's important, and what gives us all hope here, is the fact it shows a micro SD slot. So it looks like not only can we put a micro SD in there, with Basic Fun, if they want to do updates down the line to fix some of these bugs, which should make people feel somewhat confident that the bugs will be taken out. But say, for example, in the future, they are able to add additional characters back into the game, whether it be Macho Man, Elizabeth, Legion of Doom, Slaughter, maybe Andre, once that's confirmed, they can do an update, and we can easily do that through the SD card by downloading a patch online. But what's even more exciting is there's an opportunity to mod this cabinet now. And I will say a huge thank you to our friends over at Team Encoder that have done this over and over again, fix cabs that the companies have screwed up on, like Dragon's Lair, like T2, I think to some extent, and most importantly, NFL Blitz, because this whole situation reminds me so much of NFL Blitz with a lot of missing features, people being unhappy, and Team Encoder came to the rescue. Hopefully they can do the same here, put the original ROMs on this cabinet, and make people happy. Well, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think it's very important that people know all these issues ahead of the game. If you haven't already ordered your cab, keep these issues in mind. And if you have ordered your cab and the guts are kind of taken out of you, all the steam is taken out of the excitement, keep in mind there's hope thanks to Team Encoder. Now, me personally, like I mentioned earlier, I'm out on the Ultra line of this cab. I think the Ultra line is a big downgrade from even the Arcade 1-Up Deluxe with no coin door, no speaker grills. It just seems like it's a step backwards. No Wi-Fi online play. I'm not a player. Now, I am still interested in the Supreme series, albeit with a caveat, and I've got to preface this because usually Club Store exclusives don't come to Canada, so if it does come to Canada, I am possibly going to pick this up with the hope that Team Encoder can do this. Team Encoder makes fun of me and calls me he who does not mod, but I will promise right now, with the caveat, if it comes to Canada, Team Encoder, if you fix this cabinet, I will mod it. I promise you. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of this horrible news about the Basic Fun Wrestlefest? It's worse than we originally anticipated. And also, go check out P-Dub's Arcade Loft. I'm sure he's going to have a big review on this in the near future, and he deserves the credit. He's the one that found a lot of these issues out. And dear God, please tell me that Andre's not also out of the game. How crappy would that be? No Megabucks and no Legion of Doom. Like, both of the main games you would want to play on this are kind of not complete, as my buddy MG would say. Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time.